Good morning, YouTube. Reseller Mom here with Tina, and today is Friday, October 7th.
It's
We
Friday.
are, we are officially in Q4, right?
We are.
It is official. My head always goes Q4 is November, December, January, but October's like pre Q4 for me.
Yeah.
I always feels like. And then I've got to shout out the Mariners finally made a playoff win. Today's their first playoff game in like 21 years, so
Wow.
it's
That's a
like the
big
whole
deal.
city has to wear a shirt.
That's a really big deal. Awesome.
It is. Oh, my husband is beside himself. He's a huge sports fan. And me, I'm like, I don't know. I think it's all fun and games, but I'm not really like, I could, if sports were completely off and never talked about ever again, I would, it wouldn't affect my life at all. He would be devastated. He'd probably just dig a grave and crawl in, but
Yeah.
me, I'd be like, okay, fine, we'll move on. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. We have quite a bit packed in today. Today's show, we've got some questions from, the last week since last Friday's show that have built up that we want to talk about. We want to talk about Q4 goals specific to Q4, the Amazon to Amazon ungating drama going on in our life. We are still running our BOLO group and offering coaches. And then we also have $25 off Be Cool. I will shout that one out first. If you guys are thinking about getting Be Cool, DM me, message me, make a comment, something, and I can get, we have, I think, 4 codes left, that 4 or 5
Yeah,
codes
that
left.
we can use, and they expire
The end of the
October.
month.
What was it? Oh, the end of the month.
31st. So you have to sign up for Be Cool and be on the $100 a month plan, and you'll get $25 off. So if you want one of those codes, contact me. You can also email resellingmom@gmail.com. That's always a good way to get a hold of me too. But I have people that message me all in all areas, but everything seems to be updating this week. I guess I'll complain about that first. Inventory updated. Did you see there's a new workflow in Amazon? I
Yeah, and
swear.
there's a new workflow even on eBay for those that list on eBay. The way that you create your listings, and it actually was a bit easier because I did a few listings on eBay yesterday, and it just seemed really fast and efficient. So I didn't mind.
I swear everybody updates at the same time and it drives me crazy because they
And
move all the buttons
always
around.
during Q4 when we're too busy to learn a new change. Do it in the summer, please.
Well, and I'm going like somebody messaged me on Fiverr and they're like trying to get feedback removal and like their buttons have changed and I'm like, quit moving the buttons because it's hard to give instruction. I was helping somebody yesterday and trying to add a video to the thing and they've moved where the add a video button is. And
Yeah,
it's like, quit moving the buttons around. There was no reason to move them.
I know.
Okay, so we'll go down this list first and answer questions to the best of our ability. If you have questions, put them in the comments. And if you enjoy or learn or just want to say something, we love having comments, and a thumbs up would be very appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed to Tina's channel, go subscribe to Tina's channel. We're trying to get her channel built up.
Good morning, Nate. I see you over there.
So first comment question says, seems like I made some purchases with my son's name and didn't realize it because Google auto-filled. We have the same last name and billing address is the same. If I get an inauthentic claim and the invoice has the correct billing name and last name, but first name is different, will they void my invoice and would it pass for inauthenticity? So this is a good question.
It is a good question.
Here's the deal, because a lot of us, when you're looking to scale your Amazon business, a lot of people either look at third-party packing centers, having somebody pack for them, that's what I did, and or have somebody shop for them. So you can do a variety of different things and or have, like, let's say I wanted to have Tina pack my stuff. I could have my stuff sent to Tina and she could be packing it. And now Tina's address and information is going to be showing on those invoices and whatnot.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think you're fine. Like, I think you're worrying about a less than 1% of a possible problem. But if you're really worried about something like that, go into your Amazon account and add them as a user. Like then you have their first, last, and email in there. And so any sort of problems that you're trying to fix, they will be in your account. And I know that's what people do with shoppers when they issue them. Like the way I was looking at hiring a shopper, and I was looking at this before COVID, was you would have your person, we'll just call her Jennifer, is going to go out and shop. You give them gift cards so they don't have like tied to your account. And if they check out, you have Jennifer as an authorized user because Jennifer's going to go buy the stuff and then pack the stuff. So anyhow, if you're really worried, add your son as an authorized user.
And I have had to submit invoices before for items in the past.
Mhm.
And my mom is my legal business partner. So sometimes her name or my name has been on invoices, her address as well as my address. And it's not been an issue for me. And I used to worry about the same thing, like, oh crap, this is, this address, this name, and I was afraid of that. But both of our addresses are in our Amazon account. So I've not faced issues personally.
Yes. Good, good, good. And the other thing is, if you needed to provide documentation that he works for you or he does something for you or he's related to you, that should be fairly easy to do with a son.
Yeah.
Where it gets sticky is if you have just somebody random doing things for you that you're like trying to prove that. And you could prove that by maybe checks that you've issued them or, a contract that you've signed with them.
And not only that, you can submit, let's say they came back with something. I mean, you could submit your bank statement, the page that shows where that transaction is, because, the likelihood is that you've purchased it with your business account registered with Amazon. And it's going to show that it was bought with your business checking account in your name. And in the past, I had used a prep center at one time, and my orders used to go to that prep center. And I know that that was not an issue either.
Good, good, good. Next question. I have never shipped hazmat FBA, although I have been approved by Amazon to do so. I called the 800 number that I posted in the video on how to ship hazmat, asked some questions, and they said that you have to be accepted into the UPS program by taking the hazmat training class for $575 and signing a contract. Did you go through this process? No, I didn't go through this process. I have never heard of this process.
No.
I did Google it because I like to Google things and figure out what's going on. And they do have a blurb on their website. And then they had this where they do offer the course, $600, and you get some certification to do DOT, information and ability. But I have never heard of that. I don't do that. And I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I took the quiz through Amazon, the test through Amazon. That's what you have to do with Amazon to get approved. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I am guessing, since that is specifically through UPS, that would be like if you're a brick and mortar store or possibly a warehouse and you're wanting or needing this kind of authorization with UPS to do that. That's a guess, because that part I don't think has anything really to do with Amazon. This is just my hunch. Amazon already has such a contract with UPS, and all we have to do is pass the test on Amazon's website because they already hold this contract. That's a guess.
Yeah, I would dive into that. I personally would not spend $600 on a freaking course. No,
don't do
unless
that.
if you want. I mean, I have a lot of courses under my belt just because I like them and I like to learn about them. But yeah, I wouldn't do that one for the heck of it. Next question. They were asking about pirate ship pickup. Is it really I got 250 pounds picked up for $380? And the answer is yes. And pirate ship increased their pickup rate to $4 within the last week. I want to say as of last Wednesday, Thursday. So now if you see the pickup amount, it is now $4. They've increased it by 20 cents. Still worth it.
Still worth it. Still
But
worth it.
I've had them pick up like a whole truckload. I mean,
Yeah.
like 20 boxes for $4. It's worth it. It's worth saving the gas and the hassle and the back pain of trying to load up the boxes and everything. Do you create ads to kick off bundles you create? Yep.
Yep, on some of them, not all of them. Sometimes I like to give it a week or so and see if I have a natural sale
Mm-hmm.
right out of the gate. Some things are just organically great. Others, I will put them on a paid advertising, but I don't spend a lot. There are a lot of courses and private label courses that teach you how to do advertising and how to monetize it and how to do, A and B campaigns and all sorts of different advertising tactics. I really keep mine simple. I place cheap bids. I do have simple strategies. So I've never spent a fortune launching a bundle product.
Nice. Let's see here. So somebody asked in the chat, does Yeti send out IP claims? So all I did was I typed in Amazon IP claim list or something, and you can literally look this up. I would do this and do it maybe on a couple different sites if you're wanting to branch into a brand and you're like, I don't know about it. Says this brand is well known for taking legal actions against unauthorized sellers for the products. Avoid at all cost. So that tells me stay away from this one. And I pretty much have gone to this method instead of paying for an IP alert because I kind of know them now. I've been selling for so long that I kind of know which brands to stay away from. I'm ungated in just about everything. So if I come across a new brand, I just go to these types of websites. And this one was Seller Journal, but there's at least 6 of them that I know of. So I just type in Amazon IP list and look and see what they say about the company. Is it moderate risk? Is it low risk? Is it one person might have had a risk 3 years ago?
Yeah. And the IP, I do have the IP extension just because I got it a long time ago. And it's not always accurate. And on some, it is. And it usually will tell you that this is a verified claim or not a verified claim or verified on this date. Because I know one that comes up all the time, which has never been a problem, is IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just went and got my IKEA pickup yesterday. And they were out of something. I hate it. They go in and out of stock of anything that's really good selling. It's like, boom, that's what's going to be out of stock. Of course.
Yeah.
Kate says she is now using the pirate ship service. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are welcome. It really changes your world. Want to see shower drops in Streamlit.
That was naughtiness.
Is it naughtiness? I don't know. How do people find the time? All right. Next question. Any update solution on issues with the GTIN issues? No, there's not been any update.
And it's been making us mad. Lots of us are losing really good listings. We're just buying things. And as soon as we get it and we're about to send it in, it hits with the GTIN. On some of the things, I will say what I've been doing now is I've been putting it in my account, like I'm adding it with 0 in stock before I order it. And I let it sit there for, say, 12 hours or something to see if these G10 errors are popping up before I place my order. So I just started doing that in the last couple of days. And I had one of them actually pop up with that G10 error. So, of course, I didn't order the item. But I just really am wondering what is going to happen moving forward. And it really impacts bundler listings, right?
Yeah, and I think that the dust will settle and it will get figured out and we'll work through it. But that's a good idea, is adding it to your thing. I was thinking the same thing with I've had some Squishmallows get hit with toy compliance, and there's no real good way to get the toy compliance paperwork. They don't do the testing. They don't care. They don't want you really reselling it, so they're not going to do it. It costs about $3,000 per item to get those things tested. So they're not going to do it for us. And the same thing goes. If you add it to your inventory, add it to merchant fulfilled with 0 inventory, it will get flagged. and then you'll
Yeah.
see if you're able to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting. I think the 14th or 16th is the big date for all these G10s to knock off.
Yeah.
So I'm just probably going to take a little bit of a break on ordering anything new for the next 7 days, and then let them purge the system and then go forward.
Yeah.
They'll delete all those listings that aren't good. I have seen people cut and seal bubble wrap ends, pinches them, and kind of glues them together. Do you know how to do that? Yeah, you get a sealer. I've not, I'm trying to think if I've done it. I may have done it, but I don't do it very much.
You have the heat sealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see
And
here.
just create like your own little pocket, so to speak.
Yeah, and you,
Like,
and you can. Let me see here if I can do this. This might be the one I have because, let's see if I can add. I have one like this, but mine's bigger. I think it's 18 inches. Yeah, there's an 8-inch, a 12-inch, and I have either the 12 or the 18. I want to say I have the 18. And this thing comes in handy with all sorts of things. I have had products come to me where that end seal has kind of popped up, and all I do is I plug this in, reseal it. You can make bags out of your bubble wrap, like that person, commented on, and you can do shrink wrap stuff. So when I'm doing a lot of shrink wrapping, I'll, put your items into your bag. You do that, and then you put a heat gun on them, and boom, you got a real professional.
bing, bada bang. And you know what I have from back when all I sold was clothing is it's the little gun, the little plastic thing that has the T's at the end that the tags are on. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tags?
Like when you have clothing at the store and it has the price tag hanging off of it, or the brand tag, that plastic piece that the tag is hanging on that's inserted into the clothing. I have had sometimes the tag come off or that get broken off. So I've bought, it's a gun. I don't know what the plastic things are called. And you can thread it. It's like a needle thread. So you can poke the tip through the tag, and you can just shoot it through the clothing, and it sticks it back through there. And it was very inexpensive. And that thing, I still use it. I had bought something from the Disney store, and for whatever reason, the way I pulled it, my tag popped right off, and I'm like, oh crap. Because now it doesn't look brand new. That's the thing I have. And that is great for when your tags accidentally fall off. Sometimes when I'm preparing things, the tag falls off, or the plastic thing snapped. And so I do use that periodically from time to time. I had also bought, back when I was doing clothing, there are rolls of stickers that are small, medium, large, extra large. It's all the sizes, because at the time I used to do a lot of Costco clothing, and then on front of the t-shirt, it'll have that long sticker. Small, medium. So sometimes I would get my big Costco hauls and it was maybe missing one of the tags, but you could tell it was brand new. I would fold it up all nice and neat, and then I would peel off the sizing sticker, and I'm talking like t-shirts that are small, medium, and large. And I would put that across the front of it, put it nice in a poly bag. So that way it still looked fresh from the store, without me, because I'm not going to send something into Amazon with no tag at all. And so that came in real handy. Yeah, those were mine are colorful. So mine are red, green, blue. They look really nice, and they're like long. They go this way long, because that's the way the stickers were on the Costco clothing. So those are just nice, handy things to have in your, Amazon arsenal. I have drawers that have these little clever things in there that you need from time to time.
Yes, and I have gotten also the inserts for the bottom of ladies' clothing that, what do they call it?
Like the panty protectors that are in bathing
There you go,
suits.
panty protector liner things that every once in a while, you'll get something that looks a little dirty, or, just you want to change it out, which is fine. But yeah, I have a little drawer with all of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I use the clothing tag thing like on a weekly basis. I've had packers that accidentally cut too viciously and have cut it off. And then I've also had my daughter, sometimes she'll get something, she takes the tags off, and then she's like, oh, I want to return it. Don't do that to me.
Yeah. Or you're like, here, let me gun that tag back in.
I gotta reattach the tag. That
And
and
good morning, people jumping in. I see you, my Brittany.
yes, good morning, Brittany. All right, that was it for questions from the last week here. I think we needed to dive in. You want to do Amazon to Amazon gating first and then goals?
Yeah, I think we should talk about Amazon to Amazon and gating because that has definitely been a hot topic of discussion based on a post that one person shared warning people not to do this tactic on Amazon.
Yeah,
And it
give the background on that, on where that.
I don't have that post pulled up in front of me, but it was in another Facebook group. It wasn't our group that somebody had posted warning people that they were just came back from being suspended, was it? Because their account was deactivated for over 20 days because they used an Amazon to Amazon ungating method. When I read it, there was a lot of comments, and it looked like the original poster of that thread never verified anything of or answered anybody's questions. I've not gone back to look at it for days, so maybe they eventually did. But what a lot of people's questions were in that thread is, did that person use their Amazon Prime account to buy something to then use that Amazon voice to invoice to get ungated? And then somebody else did pull up from Amazon. I believe it was off of Amazon. I didn't look close enough, that it says that you cannot use an Amazon invoice for ungating. And I didn't read much more into it because I've just been busy packing and prepping this week.
All right, well, I'm going to stop trying to search over here for the information. Just
And
go
I
off
can
of
search
what I
for
know.
it. And then we just had somebody in our group share that she just used an Amazon invoice to ungate on Amazon. I think it was just yesterday with no problems at all.
So here's my take on it. One, the post that we are talking about in question was posted in Hustle Buddies, and the person who posted it did go through and say that they did use a business account. It was months and months ago.
Okay.
And this is when they called Seller Central, this is the cause of the deactivation was specifically using an Amazon invoice to get ungated. Now that's what they're posting. And I'm not here to argue with anybody on the internet. I don't care. I don't care what you post on the internet. Where I'm going is I look at facts from everybody. And I have seen hundreds of people use Amazon invoices to get ungated. I have used Amazon invoices to get ungated. And here's my logical thinking here. If Amazon didn't want to allow using the invoices, then they just would say, no, this is not a proper invoice. We don't
Right.
accept these, period. Like, why would they say, yes, we're going to take this. Yes, we'll approve you. And then come back 10 months later and say, nope, just kidding. You weren't supposed to do that. Well, somebody had posted the reason that happens is in Amazon it's kind of like Hydra. You got teams over here, you got teams over here, and they don't talk or know each other's job or even care or anything like that. So they said the people who are doing the approvals don't care, don't know about this policy, and it's the policy police over here that are doing the kiboshing. So anyhow, you got to take everything for what it's worth and with a grain of salt when you see these types of posts. Most of the time when I see somebody post that they got suspended for something that when they initially post, it sounds like, oh my gosh, you've been done wrong. After a few threads, it gets wheedled out that they were drop shipping or they were doing something that really is not allowed, and they just didn't understand that that's what they were doing. You have a lot of posts and YouTube videos and companies out there that literally will tell you, we will set up a drop shipping business for you and give you the instructions, and then we will do all of the drop shipping for you and you get a 30% cut. It's a win-win situation, etc. And people get caught up in this amazing opportunity and then they get shut down. And that's the scam, guys, is these companies are just looking for people that don't have shut down accounts to move their stuff. And you got to do a lot of digging to kind of find out how the business operates, and then also go through the terms of service and see what what
Yeah,
matches.
because I imagine there's other things within there. I was suspended once on Amazon, and it took
Mhm.
over a month for me to get my account back. It took a very long time, and it was right before Q4, so it was horrible. It was a horrible experience, and it was when I was still working my full-time job, and my goal at that time was to leave my job by the end of that year because my income was finally where I wanted it to be able to be to make that smooth transition from leaving the workplace and going to Amazon full time. And so I have been through that, and it's dreadfully scary. And I made other mistakes at the time my account was suspended. It wasn't because I just did this one thing. It's never because you just did this one thing. There's always other factors involved in it. And so I imagine there was more to this person's story than just that they used this Amazon to Amazon ungate. That's what I believe, but I can't say for certain because I'm not them and I don't know their story. But I am someone who has gone through an Amazon suspension, and that was around 6 years ago. And it was not a fun process.
No, and Kate says that she got approved while this was unfolding. And there, if you've used this process, there's really nothing that you can do. If you're looking at using this process going forward, what we can do is offer you maybe a different way. If you are not wanting to use Amazon to Amazon, there's a lot of other places that will get you ungated
Absolutely,
for.
there is. There sure is. So, I always feel like you should use your Amazon to Amazon ungate method really as your last resort because it is very easy to get approved with so many brands and over the counter and things like that by other means. But I do want to say that I have my laptop over here, so I jumped in the group to read that thread, and that person did end up replying, but they did in their last sentence of the reply quite snarky. And it's a her. She says, just because you have not seen it within your circle of flippers or whatever you call yourself doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So it's like, well, it's what you call yourself too if you're doing this business. So I felt like, well, that was snarky.
Yes, yes. Kate says I'm debating sending the products in. Yeah, that's another part of them. If you're really worried about it, sell them over on eBay or write them off as an expense to get ungated. I have not been able to find any of the policies, but if I do,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will post them in our group.
And I really wouldn't be that scared to do it. This is just one person. This is one isolated event that kind of went a little bit viral in some of the communities on this topic. If you start seeing this pop up more and more, then definitely, maybe back away from doing that method. And again, I feel like that's your last resort is to do that. For some people, I saw a person respond on that thread that they have ungated 100 brands that way. It's like, good golly. And they said they're still not scared to do the Amazon to Amazon Engate, and they said if that ever happens to them, they'll cross that road when they come to it. And just because your account is suspended, that does not mean you're suspended forever. Because I did get my account back when I was suspended. Usually, if you're suspended forever, it's something pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And anyhow, we'll move on from that. We've got another kind of legal issue, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But our friend posted this, and I've blocked his name, but this is another drama going on in the Amazon community. And it says here that Nike sellers, please take a moment to read the important update about disbursement. If your disbursements have been placed on hold due to a temporary restraining order. Once we heard about the issue, Seller Basics Network attorney Paul took immediate action and has already spoken with Nike legal counsel this evening on getting it resolved. While he can't guarantee a resolution, he's optimistic that it will get resolved. Nike is not going after resellers for authentic products as long as all your ducks are in a row. It goes on to say, maybe, if you've received a message stating that your Amazon seller account has been affected by Nike, let Seller Basics team know so they can help. Send an email to hello@sellerbasics.com and they're saying they are going to help people even if they are not a member of the Seller Basics team. And I know the guy who posted this, and he does subscribe to Seller Basics. And Seller Basics is kind of a neat program because for, I think it's like $100 a month, you have access to their legal team. So if you get an IP complaint, if you get an inauthentic claim, if you get suspended, they have counsel that will help you get help it get fixed.
Yeah.
And so what had happened was Nike was issuing restraining orders against third-party sellers, and they are working on getting that fixed up. Now, I don't have any Nike stuff. Do you have any Nike in stock?
I don't have currently any in stock. I don't believe. I would have to look, but I have sold Nike. I don't subscribe to Seller Basics. So, of course, I did not get that email, and I have not heard anything about it. Um, but it does. And let's face it, some of my Nike things that I buy, I wouldn't have a valid invoice, because there are some Nike things that I get from TJ Maxx.
Mm-hmm.
And these are not considered an authentic invoice. So,
well, I take pictures of any of those tags
right,
with the UPC
yes.
to do authenticity, and I've fought and won cases and
like that, and I've heard that doesn't always work anymore either. So I guess that is hit and miss. Maybe it's how good your appeal writer is. So currently, all the Nike items that I have in my account are all out of stock.
If I have any Nike items, then they're probably sold out. I don't remember the last time.
I will find at Burlington Nike baby items. I will find Nike, underwear, socks, slides, and all of these things sell very good on Amazon. Most of my Nike comes from those kind of stores, to be honest.
Kate asks if we could elaborate what's going on. So Nike went after third-party sellers and issued a bunch of restraining orders for selling their products on Amazon. Seller Basics is a third-party program that you can buy into, and I believe it's $100 a month, and they have lawyers on hand that will fight this type of situation. So the lawyers over at Seller Basics are in contact with Nike saying, you can't go after you can't issue restraining orders, yada, yada. And as long as you have your paperwork for Nike in order, your ducks in a row, you're not selling fake Nikes, basically, you are going to be fine, and this will work itself out. Now, I haven't received the restraining order, and I don't know if they're going through Amazon, if they're just sending you a letter in the mail. I don't know on that account. I did not have time. This literally got posted I found out about this 5 minutes before we went live.
Yeah. So I think he posted it this morning. It was this morning that I saw the post on there. I was like, ooh, a lot of us sell Nike, and the shoes I've bought, I have bought here locally at the Nike outlet when I've sold a lot of the Nike shoes. But now we know.
The last kind of legally shoe concerning that I wanted to just talk about real quick was there is a huge amount of shoes and stuff going missing on, I believe it's ND4. Mm-hmm. And I suspect some sort of thievery ring, because there's just no way that many shoes goes missing.
Right.
One of the things that has started to catch these type of thievery rings is the Apple AirTags. Or, I don't think you have to use Apple, but I would be curious if I were having problems with missing shipments to ND4. I think they're like $25 a piece. And if you're sending in $2,000 worth of shoes, spend $25. But I would be interested in maybe putting one of those GPS trackers in
to see where it goes.
And I may even do a pair of shoes that I don't care if it gets stolen. I wouldn't plan on it going to a customer. I'd recall it if it actually made it to Amazon, and stick it in the toe of the shoe. I'd be sneaky like that. But, that's just my thoughts on it, because I'm also learning about traveling and points, and there was a ring taken down out of Philadelphia that were stealing luggages. And the way it got caught is somebody had put one of those AirTags in their luggage, And the police literally could just go show up in the house, and they showed up at the house. They had like 300 luggage bags that they had stolen from people.
Nice.
Yeah. So that ring got taken down. And I have a feeling, and it's just my feelings. I have no concrete evidence. I'm just going, lots of expensive shoes going missing. How could we combat this as a seller so that you don't lose money? GPS tags are going to be kind of the wave of that future, I think.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'd totally spend $25 to see where my
Catch a
stuff
thief.
goes.
Yeah.
And I would get in the car and drive over there and be like, I can't beat
And I know you would, because we've done that once.
we have gone and scoped somebody out.
We did.
That's
a funny story.
Yes. And with good reason. Tina and I are not stalkers, just so you know. Well, maybe she is. I don't know.
Speak for yourself.
William says, too bad we can't just be worried about making our customers happy. No joke. Isn't it so bad we have to do all this?
It is, because I do believe that most of us are upfront, good, honest sellers. I really do. It's, just like with anything, it takes, one person to spoil a party, the bad apple that spoils the rest. And it's very frustrating.
It is. William says, I would say that the largest topic of discussion are account issues like IP and getting ungated. And the lowest is how to delight customers.
Right.
No joke. Oh, it's been, unfortunately, and that's the way every business I've ever been in is you spend most of your time on the BS.
Yeah.
It's the BS that stops you. It's not the 99 awesome transactions that happen. It's that one customer that uses bad words in their feedback. And next thing you know, you've got to prove your authenticity.
You could tell Amazon, I've made 10,000 sales in the last 3 months, and you're making me fight this one person. Yeah, it is very frustrating.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Q4 goals.
Yes. So I had asked in our main group, I think 2 weeks ago, I don't recall, because the days go by. But I asked, what were your goals for this Q4? Do you have any? Have you set any? Just because Q4 is such a great time to really add a lot of dollar bills to our bank accounts to help us enter into next year with some, fat extra cash in our banks. And what are your goals to get there? Are you running your business the same way you do all year? Are you throwing some more inventory on your credit cards, just knowing that you'll be able to pay them off? And I had asked that question, and a few of you answered that in the Facebook group. And did you pull up any of those replies?
I can in a minute, but tell me your goals first.
Well, Amazon declined a little bit for me this year compared to previous years. Usually I grow and grow every year. And this year, my money did start going down a little bit. And, I had to assess, why is that? Why did my numbers start declining this year? And how can I fix that and turn that around during Q4? And so part of me setting my goals is analyzing, where things are going south. And for me, I, picked up some other activities that were bringing in income. And so that it made me not have all the time that I used to dedicate to Amazon. So in the end, when I really look at it, I will actually be up this year, even though my Amazon looks like it's going down this year, because I have found other avenues that I spend time on now making money. As far as with Amazon, I will more than likely be using some credit card debt, because every year at Christmas time is when I generally make enough money to get me through the next year into summer. And I don't mean that I just sit back and relax. I just mean that I end up with quite a substantial amount of money sitting in my bank account. And what I generally do is I take that amount, a big chunk of it, and I sit it in my business savings account. And I spend a lot of it on after Christmas sales. And then I hold that inventory in my closet for next year Christmas stuff. Yeah, I do. I buy a lot of Christmas stuff at 80 and 90% off, and I hold on to it. I have a closet here in the house I throw it into. So my goal is to at least have, 10 or 20,000, say, sitting in a business savings account that just sits in there as a cushion in the end.
Mhm.
Would be a goal that I would have this year.
Nice. Nice, nice. I am last year my rolling 30 hit 80,000 in sales, and this year it's going to be 100,000, but my goal doesn't sit, and I just throw that number out because it's a number. I can throw it out there.
Yeah.
I do want to hear if you guys have a goal. Please write them in the comments right now so that we can read them off and get ideas from everybody. My goals are a little bit more like, I don't know. There's many of them. I'm taking an
Me
accounting
too.
class
I
right
have
now.
tons of goals, but that's just one tiny little one.
Yes, I'm taking an accounting class, so I'm really hoping that, and it has been helping me understand profit and loss and business transactions and etc. So I'm really excited there. We're going to go to Europe next summer, so my goal is I have goals surrounding that, and I want to go to Portland and do some more Black Friday shopping. So I'm trying to arrange that trip. And what do I need to bring? How much am I going to buy? Am I going to go buy and then bring it back? Space, all of that good stuff. And then just, well-rounded, I guess, is where things need to be. I would love to just sit here and focus on straight flipping, but I need the well-roundness of life and whatnot. Good morning, Lana. I brought up the Facebook group. I blacked their names out because I don't know if they're we didn't ask for permission to share or anything, but they all had great ideas. In my Amazon, I do 70-30, 70% replenishable, 30% seasonal, consistent sales, which is great. For me, it is knowing where I currently am, measuring what is obtainable, and then how long and the steps to get there. This would be knowing your average sale price, and if you're currently making a 30% margin, how you're running your business. I'm not sure. I should have hit the see more part.
I'm on that same thread. So I can click on those. What did that one
Okay.
start off with?
For me, it's knowing where I currently am.
Okay, yeah. So after the see more, for me, it's knowing where I currently am, measuring what is attainable, and then how long and what steps it takes to get there. This would be knowing what your average sales price is. Are you currently making a 30% margin? How are you running your business now? Or do you need to adjust that? Is it a matter of needing to increase the inventory you are sending in? Or are you needing to improve and increase the inventory? Then seeing what is realistic and changing. Sometimes those changes are a higher ASP, as an example, might mean higher priced inventory per item, or with your current ASP, which is average selling price for those that didn't know, you might need to send in more inventory than you have capital for. So it is building the stepping stones from where you are now to where you want to go. And this is a person answering the main poster's question about growing and where you are starting. I know for me, one of the things I do before we read a few more of these is I work backwards. If I want to make, say 10,000 a month, or maybe you're at wanting to make 5,000 a month, either in gross or net, because, our gross sales on Amazon is not what our net take home pay is on Amazon. So, where are you working from? Are you, and your net take home pay again has to do with what is your average ROI. There's so many factors involved of doing this. So you might want to take, by looking in your inventory lab reports, what is your average ROI month by month all year thus far, or however many months it has been that you have been selling. And Lucy and I have a spreadsheet that we work on where we do this, and then you can work backwards and you take this formula. Maybe you can finish this thought for me, where you take this, because it's like I have to be looking at it to explain it. You can take this formula by how many items it is you're sending in per month to Amazon to give you what you are currently making. And then from there, you can do basically the math to find out how much more you should be spending, and knowing what your average selling price is per item to get you to that final goal number of this formula. I feel like I didn't say that well. I hope you guys understand what I was saying. Unless I am looking at the thing, it's hard for me to.
Why did this go? Why did that go on? Why did that get added? Did I just?
You were doing that online, whatever you're looking for.
Oh,
I thought it was something you were sharing on there.
Yeah, I am, but I didn't add it to the stream.
Neither did I.
Why did it go in? Okay.
I don't know. I just wanted to jump in there. So the original, why Lucy looks for, I'm sure you're looking for the spreadsheet formula that we use.
I'm sharing this one.
Oh, okay. You got it. Thank you.
Well, I've got a different one that it's just a simple breakdown that I find is good. I'm trying to find the increase button. Where's the zoom? There we go.
There we go.
So it's just a couple of examples that if you need to make $8,000 a month, I can't remember what the known is.
I think 8,000 is the net. Yes.
Okay, let me put that down there so we can. Okay. Take your desired income. Then if we assume the average net profit is 20%, multiply it by 5, then take that number and divide it by the average sale price. This is how many units you need to sell. So if you need to make $8,000 a month, you times that by 5, that's 40,000. If your average profit is 350, 40,000 divided by 350 is you need to sell 11,000 units.
And that's how many units you have to buy. And then you can times that by that cost of good price on there. And then it tells you how much you should, be your goal spending per month. Sometimes when you do those formulas, it's so far from where you currently are at. So dial it back, make a realistic goal from where you are right now, and maybe try to increase that by 25%. And then once you finally get to that, take the small baby steps to get you to that final destination that you're striving for. Because once you get there, you're going to find that now you have a new destination.
Exactly. Where is my picture too?
But you guys, you really should try to make a goal of when you get your big checks in Q4, try to take one of them and throw it in a business savings account. I remember my business savings account used to be like $500, and then it was about 5,000, and then it was 10,000, and then it was 20,000. And you can have the rest of your working capital still in your checking account. But when you have that nice little cushion in your business savings account, when the times come up to have that tool, like Inventory Lab, for instance, when you pay for Inventory Lab a year at a time rather than a month by month, I think it equates to that you get 2 months free of Inventory Lab when you pay it a year ahead of time. You've already pulled from that savings that you've just made in December, and you've paid for your Inventory Lab for the whole year. So now that's one monthly bill you don't even have to worry about. I pay for all of my subscriptions a year in advance. Be cool. I pay for it for the whole year. And I use that with my Q4 money. Then you do end up earning the free discounts. Then you still have this big cushion just sitting in your savings account. When it's time to pay your CPA for your business taxes, you can pull that money from your savings cushion. I also every month during the year add a little bit to my savings account, a little bit every single payout from Amazon, because what happens is every year in the summer, my sales plummet. They really plummet. Do they disappear? No. They're certainly not Q4 sales. And there's always that stretch of summer that just stinks. And what if you want to take a vacation and you take a week or 2 off of selling on Amazon? Your numbers are going to reflect that you did that too. When you have that little cushion in your savings account, whatever it is that you're paying yourself for your paycheck, sometimes I have had to pull my paycheck from my Amazon savings account because what I made on my Amazon payout was all money that I had to spend on inventory. It was either not as much inventory because I'm balancing it between buying inventory and paying myself, or I put it all into inventory and don't get to pay myself. And, sometimes we are faced with these decisions, and that is what that business savings account is for. Then what happens is the rest of it that's left over going into Q4, I blow it all. I blow it all on Q4 stuff. And I deplete that savings account down to nothing, and because I'm about to replenish it again. And so that's just one of the things that I do.
Nate says, "Yep, the summer slump." Brittany, I can't link the whole document, but I can take that formula and make a picture and put it in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
so I will do that. And then we've got one last one. This is my second anniversary and my third Q4. The thing that got my sales up is sending in more inventory as much as you can. You will have no problem finding inventory that sells in Q4. So my goal is to work hard enough to get those dollars I want. This means taking care of myself, watching my cash flow, making sure stuff gets prepped and doesn't sit around.
Yes. I actually took a break from shopping this week, and that was tough because I always feel but if I don't shop, I'm not going to have inventory, right? Like I get this like intensity panic. But I had so much stuff here, and it's like if I'm out shopping and spending money while at home is all this inventory that needs to be sent in. This is cash money sitting here. It's like it doesn't make sense. So I took a shopping hiatus this week. I did make, I think, 3 online orders. I did make an online order in-store pickup yesterday because it was a missing part to a bundle that I have sitting here. I got out about 95% of the inventory I had here at my home this week, and that felt great. And I do still have stragglers, so I do have straggling inventory. And those are those things like I talked about bundles. It's like I have part A, but I don't have part B to the bundle because I have to go out and buy it. And then I have part A to bundles that I have yet to create. So I have to go out shopping and find part B to the bundle. And so next week, my goal is going to be to find all part Bs or missing things to items that are my straggling inventory that just needs to be completed. These are fresh out of my mind bundles that I need to create. I got some great coffee mugs at the Disney store. They were on sale, and they're Christmas Mickey and Minnie Mouse mugs. And so I don't want to do a mug all by itself. Will it sell by itself? Sure. It will, from the Disney store, but I want to put something really, really cute and clever for it and make my bundle now cost a lot more money. A lot of my bundles give me 100% ROI and even more by doing that. And so I then will take all these straggler things like that. And what I do is, because I forget to do this sometimes, like let's say I have 10 mugs or I have 8 of these or 7 of those, I write down what it is I have, how many of them I have. So that way, when I'm in the store, when I find something that I think will make a great match, I know I need to buy 10 or 7 or 6. And then I will finalize those last things and get those out. And then my Q4 shopping is really going to take off like wildfire because now I'm at ground zero and I'm all caught up. I generally start my stuff easiest to the hardest because the easiest stuff is quick to get out, right? It's quick to turn over. I can case pack it. I can ship it out. I move it quick. So I start easiest and I save the hardest, most time consuming tasks for the end. And that is a really good workflow for me.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing mostly FBM this Q4.
Yeah, I will do a lot of that too.
I am trying to get prepared in the sense that it's going to be long hours and physically demanding, and you need to prepare for that as well. So I am trying to get my shoes in order because it just takes a lot of steps and my feet are terrible. So I've got, new inserts. I ordered 1 pair of shoes. I got to order another pair of shoes because you want to make sure that if your feet are hurting too bad to go out shopping, then that's bad. Think of all the things that cause you to call an early night or not make it out there. I put extra food in the car. I put, all my bags in the car. I make sure maybe to have an extra pair of shoes because sometimes you get tired of wearing the one shoes, and just switching out the shoes will give you that refreshing boost of energy to get out there. And, just all the things that you can think of that will help you out with shopping. I had one year where I was hitting up the Walmarts really heavy. Last year I was hitting up the Fred Meyers pretty heavy. When there was a sale and they had that extra 20% off coupon, man, I would eat dinner and then I'd be right back out, or I would just pick up dinner on the road and hit all the stores that I could, lining up. I do a lot of driving during Q4. So I'm lining up, what do I want to listen to? Spotify or YouTube videos or whatever to make those long drives a little bit nicer because you're going, I don't know, it's like 15 minutes in between each store. And I also will line up family members that I need to call during the holidays. It's a good time. You know, you got a 30-minute drive, call your aunt that you haven't been talking to for a while, things like that. So getting all of that ready to go.
Yeah, definitely multitasking. Another great thing about getting out all of your inventory that you have in your space. And somebody else in our Facebook group posted, hey, you know, who's comfortable with sharing their office space in their house? And that was really fun. I didn't dare post my room because there was little sections to walk through. I would have been too embarrassed to share my photo. But you know, once your space is cleared up, by the end of next week, my office will be my work room. We have a huge room here at the house that we work out of. It will be all emptied out, cleaned out. I have shelving in there, shelving units. I've got tables in there. And so I put stuff on top of tables, under tables, on shelving units. You know, I have a lot of room to store my shopping trips. And so we have a system that we do back there in our office. But if you can catch up on inventory that is sitting in your house now, because that's cash in your house now, you know, get it out, get it done, get your space clear so it is ready and clean and ready to be just loaded up again with all of your shopping trips.
Yeah. I'm trying to get, I think, everything that I want for Christmas sales out by the end of this month, because it still takes a while to get the fulfillment centers and they're backed up, etc. Kate has a good one. Cords to charge the kids' tablet. Absolutely. I get my battery charger.
I'll be right back.
Okay, battery charger, my AirPods, any electrical cords, conversion cords, etc. The other thing is make sure your internet is good and have like plans for if you're trying to scan and you don't have reception. Sometimes I turn off the Wi-Fi or join the Wi-Fi, all of that. And then I also have just extra things in my car. I have a lot of extra hand sanitizer in my car, tissues, napkins. Sometimes I'll put rolls of paper towels in there. Oh, trash bags. I always put trash bags in there, like big trash bags. If you go and buy 30 Squishmallows and it's raining outside and it's cold, you don't want them to fall and drop. You want them clean. So I will get trash bags, not the smelly ones. You don't want Squishmallows smelling like Febreze
Glade.
hefty Glade bags. So I will put in non-scented giant trash bags because they fit in your purse. You know, when you get like a regular trash bag, it folds up to like nothing and you can stick it in your purse. And then when you're checking out and the cashier's looking like, how do I put this Squishmallow in this bag that's this big? You can just pull it out and be like, I brought a trash bag for you. They love it. They love it.
Big black hefty yard bags. I had to run because my son, for those that are in our Q4 groups, know that my son is on vacation in Hawaii and I've been dog sitting for him. So he's FaceTiming me from Hawaii while we're on live. So that's why I got
talk to your son. You can.
I said, I am on the YouTube live. Let me call you as soon as we're done, you know, because I want to see your fabulous view behind you and tell you about your dogs and the ants that I fought this morning.
That's crazy.
I've been going to my son's house 3 times a day because he is on vacation for a week in Hawaii. Lucky him. And he has 3 dogs. And so they don't have a dog door for them to freely go in and out. So 3 times a day, I'm going over there to let dogs out to go potty, pet them, sit with them, feed them. And I left some dog food on the counter that one of the dogs didn't eat last night. And today when I went over, it was an infestation of ants on this dog food. And then the ants ended up on me, on the cat. It was just, I don't want to talk about it because it's like the whole way home, I was like, I just feel like there's ants on you. So
Tina has ants in her pants.
Yeah. So I had an ant fight this morning, needless to say. I will not leave dog food in a bowl on the counter again. Lesson learned. And hopefully when I go back, I have now not caused them an ant problem. I'm not going to tell him that while he's in Hawaii.
No, keep that one to yourself. We have well, this is going to be my first Q4 in the new office, but in my house, when I got home from shopping, I'd put everything into the inventory lab batches so that it would get counted for my inventory.
Oh, yeah, that's great too. Yes.
But then I would group everything up together so that when we were taking inventory or shipping or whatnot, it was kind of all together. And I have a lot of laundry baskets. We put together like just boxes, and all stuffed animals would be in like one box. Okay, so all the stuffed animals are in there.
Yeah.
And that way it wasn't all over the place. It was kind of contained.
And
So
packing and prepping like items together is always
yeah.
a great shipment to do. I love doing that. Or if you buy a whole bunch of something, I'm always preaching to do this because it is such a time saver. Is I love to case pack, so if it's all this, Barbie, this exact Barbie, Barbie school teacher Barbie, and you have 40 of them, I make a case pack shipment in Inventory Lab. It's one case, 40 Barbies, bam, all in a box, tape it, bada bing, bada bang, out the door. These are big, big time savers.
I
If
was
you
talking
are
for,
shipping FBA, yeah, for
yeah,
FBA.
for merchant fulfilling.
For merchant fulfilled, I store them the same way you. I put
Yeah.
all food items together, all box toy. They're in their designated areas, and it does make it a lot easier. I totally agree. Also, when I'm doing online arbitrage for items that are going to be sent to the house, I will have batches open up in Inventory Lab for merchant fulfilled orders. I did not know you could do this the first several years I had Inventory Lab. So in Inventory Lab, there's where you already have FBA, where you can make it be, it just is automatically populates to FBA. There's a drop down arrow. If you click that drop down arrow, merchant fulfilled pops up. You can create merchant fulfilled batches in your Inventory Lab. So what I will do is when I'm making online orders for items that'll be either merchant fulfilled or FBA, I start creating a batch as I'm ordering them. So my buy cost is already entered in there, the store it comes from. So once they come, my batch is already ready. And then I just hit submit and it's done.
Yeah, I do that too, and that's how I've always sent in my merchant fulfilled batches through Inventory
I
Lab.
never knew you could do that when I first had Inventory Lab. I learned that a few years ago. But my first several years with Inventory Lab, I did not know that you could do that. And then I would have to manually go in to be cool and type in my pricing. And then as things sold, how it says 0 in Inventory Lab, I would have to punch in what that. I did not know you could do that my first several years with Inventory Lab.
With Inventory Lab, the amounts, like all my amounts are wrong. I don't fix anything in Inventory Lab because all the numbers, all of the report numbers that my CPA needs, they pull numbers from Amazon. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go sit there and figure out why Inventory Lab messed up. And it's usually because like a customer returns something, then it resold or whatnot. So your count gets wrong in Inventory Lab. I never fix that because I found that it doesn't, when it pulls those reports on sales and stuff, it ignores that part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there now. Say it again. Okay, so Kate. And first up, I love that you you always make sure the kids have tablets. Absolutely. Go in and do add a batch, new batch, and it's towards the bottom. It's either the second or the third from the bottom. Maybe it is. Anyhow, where it says FBA, just drop it and do merchant.
Well, Kate, I'm glad you didn't know either because Lucy's like, I did it from the beginning. Well, good for you. Not all of us do.
Like that's one of the first things I saw.
Anyhow, I know everybody loves it when we fight. We're fighting. All right, so list.
I'm gonna send the ants on you.
All right, so we're going ants. I'll mail you some ants. You better watch it. All right, now my inventory. All right, so new batch on Inventory Lab. Once you're in new batch, it will down in the middle, it says channel. And then right across from that, it says FBA. It automatically populates to FBA. There's a little arrow next to it. So if you click on that box, you will see MFN pop up under it. And that is a merchant fulfilled batch that you can create. And you'll send it through to Amazon exactly the same way that you send in your normal FBA batch. Above that, you will see packing type. And on packing type, it automatically populates to say individual products. If you click that box, right below it, you'll see case packed. And so that is how you would set to ship a case pack into Amazon FBA.
So we have other people that didn't know that either. Awesome. I mean, I'm glad this is helping you out. This is good. Very good, very good. And Kate sees it.
Dummies, I love you. All right, so and then include that buy list from Scoutify or the buy list from CVS, my CVS receipt, CSV. This is where you can attach any of those buy lists that you are creating in your Scoutify app. Does everybody know that you can create a shopping list while you're out shopping in your Scoutify app? If
I hope
not,
so, but
we
let
should
me.
go over that.
So my process for efficiency that I have found with merchant fulfilling is, you know, which items you're going to replenish. It's usually you're getting the same item store after store after store, right? So I will go out to the stores and I add the items to a batch, because at that batch level on your phone, we're talking on Scoutify now, you can add to a batch. I will add whatever Barbie, and it was $9.99 at Walmart. Okay. So then when I get home, I feed that batch into Inventory Lab, and then I take all of them out and do a count. So let's say I bought 12 Barbies, and it was 4 at one store, 5 at one store, and whatever, 3 at another store. And I have 12. I'm going to change that in Inventory Lab from 1 now, and I'm not going to do 12. I'm going to do like 10, because Amazon will oversell your stuff all the time. So I'll do like 10, then I push that through to Amazon and get all the toys in their spot. So like all the plush goes in one box, all the Barbies in one area, all the food in one area, etc. And every week, sometimes twice a week, we will go through and see what our Barbie level is, because I bought 12 on Monday, then I found 6 on Wednesday, and then I found 8 on Friday. And then come Monday, I'm going, how many do I have and how many orders and what was canceled, and kind of do a refresh and say, okay, I physically have 6 left. What does Amazon say I have? They say I have 5. Okay, I'm going to add 1 more to the thing, so it's now proper 6.
When I put Barbie just because you said. So at the bottom, I'm trying to hold this. At the very bottom.
Nope, wrong one. How do
Right
I
here,
make you big?
I don't. All right. So there's a green button here. I'm trying to make it blow up at the very bottom. It's kind of blurry close on the camera, but on this side, there's add. And that will add it to a shopping cart, which is also not clear, but you see this red right there. 1, it's because I added it to my shopping cart through this Scoutify app. And once you are in your shopping cart, you have created a name of a buy list. And you will see your buy list, which it doesn't zoom in. But anyway, on this page, there is a buy list up here. You can title it whatever you want to call it. You can title it by the store name, like Lucy said, Barbie, whatever it is that you want to do. And when you're plugging in your pricing here, when you're doing your research in your Scoutify app, it will already, like Lucy had said, it will transfer over what store it is, what your pricing is, and you can start creating that list in here. You can then download this list. I then upload it to my computer and then upload it into you don't do
now
it.
We'll import directly. It imports directly on that add a batch. You can now add a batch from Scoutify.
Okay.
They implemented that
in a while.
That's only like been 6 months old. So it's a new thing that they did. You used to have to download, and it would be an Excel file and then upload it, but now it will directly go into Inventory Lab.
Okay.
And once I'm on the Inventory Lab, that's where I adjust all the amounts. I used to be like, okay, at the end of the store, I'm going to update all my amounts. And then, by the 4th store, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to do it at home, and I can see them all together and make sure it's all together, because you may be getting 6 different types of Barbies, and I get confused. I'm like, okay, this is Barbie with the musician and she's the blonde, and then I've got the brunette with the musician with the dog, and like, I just need to line them up at home, because they tend to look all the same. And it's crazy. I'm in the store and I'm like, get in the cart, get in the cart, get in the cart.
Yeah, and I never use that feature on my phone all year. Do you know I only use that feature during Q4?
I use the batch feature all the time.
Yeah, I only use it during Q4 because that's when I'm mostly out in stores actually shopping that way. Most of my shopping is online all year long. It's all online. I'm ordering online, or I'm ordering wholesale. I don't do much in-store arbitrage. I just do a little bit throughout the year. Most of it is during Q4.
I will not use it when I'm doing bras, because I don't want to sit here and scan bras a second time. Like, it's too tedious. When I'm going to go to Ross this weekend and get bras. Heather was here and she found some really good sales on bras. So she was telling me which store she went to, and I'm like, and I'm going to hit up the other ones, because you're now going
because you already wiped that one out. Yeah.
You wiped that one out, but now I will go do the other ones. And, you're not going to find the same exact things. So I'm not worried about like competing against her or anything. You always find different sizes and stuff. Sometimes every once in a while you'll find one, but I am going to go be hitting up the bras this weekend. I was going to say, this is kind of my new currency for cash registers, people. It's the Ghirardelli dark chocolate sea salt caramels. I carry these in my purse now. And if my cash register looks like they're having a bad day or whatnot, I'm like, oh, here, do you want a chocolate? Instantly perks them up and gets me discounts. I'm totally about the bribes. Do you have that coupon code? I'm trying to find that coupon code on my purse. And they're like, oh, it's right here.
Oh, you're so sneaky.
Yeah. Oh, I bribe with chocolate easily. That's my UPS lady. I have her hooked. I've got a bowl of chocolate and she's like, can I get a water and chocolate? Absolutely. She picks up for me an extra couple times a week without me having to pay the $4 fee. Not that $4 is much. I'd pay that if I wouldn't, but I can get it for free and I'm saving money because she's not going to eat $8 in chocolate every week or water. I mean, what is a case of water? Like $6. So yeah, water and chocolates. Definitely. I had my USPS guy bribed because every time he'd come by, I'd make him a hot cup of tea. My husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, it's 5:30. He's going to come. And I get the teapot brewing and I make him a cup of hot tea, you know.
Your husband's like, man, you don't even treat me that good.
Probably.
Where's my tea?
Oh, no, he has it good. He has it good. Anyhow, we're working on meal plans. That's another one that during Q4 you need to be on top of because you have to eat, right? And I'm going to try not to eat junk food. And anyhow, we're figuring out meal plans and easy meal plans too. Like what can we put in the crock pot at the beginning of the day and just have things going on and feed the family. Although now that my son's moved out, our food bill went, which is awesome.
And Lana asked, and I did see this comment earlier. I think we got sidetrailed and we didn't answer you, Lana. Sorry. Did we miss her thoughts about sending in items you bought before the 365 days rule now? And was that about for receipts?
Yeah, it was a receipt question. If you get hit with invoices, I have submitted, I'll tell you, I've only done it once, but I have submitted invoices for that exact scenario that were over 365 days and it was fine.
Yeah.
Is it going to be fine this year? I don't know.
I don't know. But, a lot of the things I buy, Lana, that would definitely fall in that category is what I just said. I love shopping the clearances after the holidays. I do it for all of the holidays because I'm a bargain hunter and I love doing that. I did that before I ever sold on Amazon. So that's just exciting to me to get stuff 80 and 90% off. So like in one scenario for years, and now they quit making them the last couple of years, Walmart used to sell these GE Christmas lights. They were the boxes that were like just yay big, 6 inches tall, I think. And they were the white string lights. And then they would have like the traditional Christmas colors, the red, blue, green, the multicolor strands of lights. I used to buy the white lights. And I mean, I would buy pallets worth of them because they were always there. They were always there, even when things were still 90% off. And I would get these lights so cheap. My one year I had to put them all in my mom's storage unit because I just had too many of these white lights, and I would send them in actually throughout the year because I sold them all year long. White lights people buy all year. They buy them for weddings. They buy them for outdoor parties. They buy them in the summer. They use them on the inside of their house all year long. These white lights sell, but I didn't sell them all before, by the time the next Christmas came up. So I was usually sending in boxes and boxes of these white Christmas lights that I got for around $1. And I was selling them in single packs, 2 packs, 4 packs, all different kind of listings that were on Amazon for these white lights. And so my receipt definitely would have been over a year or at a year-old mark by the time I sent them in. And I would have used that receipt. And I was it's seasonal, and I bought it last year during the season. It doesn't,
I think it'd be. Is it something that I suggest you do all the time? No. Have I had success submitting old receipts? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I give it too much thought? No.
No.
Heather, my friend Heather was here this week, and it was awesome. She came in. She used my facility to pack up. Anyhow, she brought me some goodies, but she had paid for them with her card. And then I bought dinner. And so she was like, well, can I use, do you want to keep these receipts if you get an authentic claim, or can I keep them for, well, she said, anyhow, or should I keep them for, you know, tracking for business purposes? We're supposed to keep our receipts. And I'm like, you keep them, because really the chances of getting an IP complaint for there was 3 bras in question that she was giving me. Anyhow, I have not had to really submit receipts for much of anything. It's like 1 to 2 times a year, and I sell over 3,000 items a month. So
It's so rare that you have to have that so these are those calculated risks that you take,
right.
and how worried are you about it?
Yep. It's like less than 1% of a chance that I might get a claim on
Yeah.
it. And
And
I'm
so
like, I
I
can
would
just
just
call
say,
you
no,
and you can,
don't worry about it.
yeah. I'm like, you can send me a picture of the receipt if worst case scenario. That's my thoughts on it. Do I go outsourcing and not have receipts on a normal basis? No.
No.
This is one of those one-offs that you just got to make some calculated risks.
Right.
And that's why a lot of these things it's hard to give kind of advice about, because it's how risky do you want to be? And that's all of life. I mean, if you asked me, can I call in sick 3 times to my work, to my job, or am I going to get in trouble? Okay, well, what's your HR policy? And, how risky do you want to do that at your job? Because honestly, if you call in sick all the time at your job, it's going to play into your performance, right? If you're somebody you're on your last leg and your boss hates
Right.
you, not a good, no. But
Yeah,
if
if you
you
just
just
already
started,
came off of a suspension, if you have
yeah,
3 IP complaints in your account, you better
yeah,
be doing everything by the book.
exactly, exactly. So, just how risky is it? I know Nate had said earlier when we were talking about goals, getting into crypto. That's something that Tina and I are getting into.
Yes.
We did a show yesterday on our updates, and we're making some more moves in that sense, in that area. And that's not to say we're not going to do Amazon or one's not the
That's
other.
right.
It's just where we're diversifying, and you've got to weigh those risks, just like real estate. I like real estate, but every single thing always has some sort of risk. Getting up out of bed and getting in your car and getting on the road has a particular risk to it, because people die in auto accidents all the time. Now, do I want to sit here and think about that? No. I've had family members die in auto accidents, but that's not going to stop me from getting up and
Driving
living,
a car.
living.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we talked about, when I talked about my money changing, like my Amazon numbers have fell slightly this year, not by much. It's a very small percentage. But I've taken on other things, and crypto is one. And, I've taken some of the Amazon capital that we have, and in the one investment I'm in, like Lucy, I'm now making $100 a day on that money that I could have spent on Amazon inventory.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what
I,
I want to do.
I watched one guy yesterday. I'll have to send you the link, but anyhow, he was talking about all the different things that he's doing, and it's diversification is what it comes down to.
That's right.
I love Amazon. It's my number one for sure, but I also do YouTube. I also do crypto. I also do other things, and it's all diversifying, because when you put all your eggs in one basket, no matter what, that basket can go away at any time.
And
And I
when I
learned that with a job.
Yep. And I had that wake up call when my Amazon account was suspended. And I was so thankful I was still working the full time job that I had. But also at that same time, my goal was to be leaving that full time job. And that really put the scare in me, because I thought, what if I had already left and now my Amazon account was suspended and now I've lost my only income? That was very frightening to me. I was doing eBay at the time too, but I really amped up my eBay along with my Amazon. And so over the course, which I've left my job, October 1st was my, I think, 5-year anniversary of leaving my full-time job. Over these 5 years, I've added a lot of things. I've added YouTube. I've added, I have the Amazon, I have the eBay, I've added Etsy, I've added coaching, I've added crypto. There's a few other things in there, but I mean, that's 6 things right there.
Yeah. I'll put the link up to the guy who I was watching yesterday, and share that. I started Amazon because, and good morning, Cynthia. I love seeing your face in here.
Mm-hmm.
I started Amazon because I had been laid off 8 different times over 10 years. And I've been laid off by companies that were huge, like Fortune 500 companies. I have been laid off for companies that were on the smaller side. And each time my mentality going into these jobs was,
How long
this
is
is
this
an,
going to last?
well, at first it was, this is an established company. They've been around. I mean, my first company I started up here with was Dairy Gold, and they'd been around since 18 something, 1900s. I mean, they were old. It was definitely before the 50s. And so I'm like, okay, this is stable. And then the next one I went to was Weyerhaeuser, and they are huge. They're like the number one, the number two next to the federal government on companies that own private land, because they own forests and they sell tree stuff, pulp, paper, etc. And I'm like, okay, big company, it's good to go. And then I went to some smaller companies, but my mentality was, this is going to be safe and secure. And at the end of 10 years, I went, none of it's secure. Nothing is secure. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of freeing, I guess, and scary at the same time.
Absolutely. And I always cut hair. So, I never really was worried about getting laid off or anything like that with a hair cutting job. However, I was only going to make so much a year cutting hair, right? It's like, because you can only physically do so many haircuts, and you can only charge so much for a haircut, that people are going to pay for it. And what happened with me is that, while my kids were young and being raised, I worked weekends, because when you cut hair, people are off on the weekends. So it was a weekend job. And I always hated being away from my family. And with that, it's not like I got paid time off as somebody who was a hair cutter. No worky, no money. I mean, there was no paid vacation days. I also never had any medical insurance. When who are in those type of jobs in the beauty industry, it does not come with benefits. It doesn't come with insurance. It doesn't come with anything. So I always had to make enough money to not only pay my bills, but to set money aside to pay for vacation, to set money aside to afford insurance, to set money aside for a retirement plan, all of that out of your haircut money. And then customers would be mad. You're there for them to cut their hair for their vacations. You hear about their vacations, their wedding stories, the new babies being born. I mean, your clients really become part of your life. But God forbid you go on vacation and aren't there. They're mad at you. It's just, and you do this for years and years. Your arms are up in the air, and it's like my foot, it's my ankle, it's my shoulders. I did that for so many years. It was really taking a toll on my body. For me, it wasn't so much of not loving what I did. I did really love it. But financially, I knew I was just constantly hitting a brick wall. I was never really going to scale up unless I made a big move. And, and I came to the realization my kids were already raised. So I couldn't go back and change being the kind of mom I really wanted to get to be. That was already over. That time has passed. They're grown up. They're out of the house. Right. So I missed it. And, I'm only getting older, and I didn't want to keep abusing my body, standing on my feet with my arms up in the air, even though I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to find something. And I was at an age where it's like, are you really going to go to college now? And, you're not even going to finish paying off a student loan by the time you're of retirement age. And, this is a big reality for people that are in their midlife. And this was my reality. And so then eBay had already been a hobby for me. I already loved going to thrift stores, and listing stuff on eBay was really just a light hobby that slowly morphed into like, wait, I can kind of be serious and make my car payment with eBay. It kind of started there, and then it morphed into Amazon. And then I was like, wow, this new generation, you can make money on the computer. I mean, this is amazing. And it just slowly evolved. And then that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, we have so many different opportunities, and I really love that it's good for a lot of people who do industries that are not your typical go to college scenarios. I have a lot of friends who do like art or music, and you can now do YouTubes or TikToks, or different ways to sell your skills.
Hey, Justin Bieber was found off of YouTube. I mean, look, there's big stars that we know today
Put
that
them back.
were.
Put them back.
But look, I mean, in the old days, it wasn't that way, right? I mean,
no. In the old days, being like a
amazing.
musician was rough.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like for people who are in forces like mine were, not that you have to have cut hair, but my background was not someone who was on the computer all day. All I ever had was a cell phone, and I had a computer to be able to check email, and I would shop on the computer. I didn't compute, I didn't do spreadsheets and computer things. Lucy will tell you I still struggle with some of that. But from where I came from, knowing zero about being on a computer to where I am today, like I can navigate being on a computer. Like, look, I can make listings, I can do things, I can make spreadsheets now. I mean, this is a big deal for somebody like me who doesn't have a background in, having a job that is tied to a desk, to a computer. This was not my life. To me, jobs like that just sounded like that really sucked. I'm a free spirit. I like to be out there. I want to be involved. I don't want to be tied to a computer. And look, here I am on a computer doing this thing, but with a great community of people that still gives you that social outlet. And look, I say if someone like me can learn to do this, anybody can. And I'm doing it.
We've got a lot of comments here to talk about. Cynthia says she was laid off 2 times because of problems with boss and production. Don't like to be in control. And my husband says, if you don't like it, change it. And I started Amazon. And then she said later, yes. I totally agree. If you don't like it, you are in charge.
Why are you doing it? Yeah.
Do you think the entrepreneur spirits, Do you think the entrepreneur spirits didn't born for being in a work always feel there's more?
Out there, yes.
One of those best.
I think it's instilled in us. I think even when I did hair, I had an entrepreneur spirit. I wanted to own my own shop, and so by the time I was 27 years old, I had already bought my first home and was already owning my first barber shop. So I even had an entrepreneur spirit within the haircutting world. So I've always been an entrepreneur, always.
Yeah. William says, I have a good engineering job and I hate it. Tired of all the corporate BS. Exactly.
Yeah.
I get good raises and bonuses, but it's not enough. I'm getting close where Amazon pays more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I didn't miss you, Judy. I'm going to bring up the website in just a minute. Do you think it's too late to source directly from a manufacturer on Alibaba? Yes.
Yes. For right now, for Q4, it is.
And I would source a manufacturer based in the United States right now. Yeah. Personally, because you're not going to get it over before
Ultimate Coupon Lady, my kindred spirit. I love a deal.
Rich says, I don't know who that is, was found on YouTube, and he's been awesome for the last 10 years. Steve Perry's replacement for Journey. Oh, okay. There we go. Then, thank you. Because I don't know people's name very well. I'm not up in that world very much. This is the website I linked. This guy is making over $100K a month. And he's got all his cryptos, but he also has things like other real estate. He bought some apartments, and that's kind of where I want to go. Like, I love Amazon, but eventually I want to have enough things that are generating passive income that I don't have to sell things if I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then Judy had asked about BuyBot Pro. I've never used it, but I've thought about it. I don't know. What about you? Have you ever used it?
I know of BuyBot Pro, but I've never tried it. But I know people who have used it. Yes.
Any thoughts? I mean, I haven't heard anything negative.
No, I've always heard good things about BuyBot Pro. So, I mean, try it, definitely.
They do have a free trial. I don't know for how long, but
it's usually a week or two. But heck yeah, try it.
Hubby is wanting to retire before 40 because the corporate world is killing him.
Yeah.
I got tired of the corporate, like, politics and the BS, and I don't want to talk too much on it, but I had one job where the goals for each department were different and often conflicting with the goals of another department. And so I'd get upset because production was supposed to clean and take out the trash or whatever, clean and tidy up their space, but they'd let their staff go home early and right after production was done and leave a mess because that looked good for them. Their numbers were based off of how quick they could get their employees off the clock. And I'm going, okay, but then you now have a mess and that goes to a different department that has to clean it up. And now that department looks crappy because they've had to clean up yours. And you're sitting here telling this guy he's doing a great job for you getting those people off the clock. And now you're yelling at this one going, what's wrong? Why are you, why are your numbers so bad? Well, do you want me just to leave a mess? So I got tired of the corporate BS, and I'm like, you can't have me pitted against this guy because we are like, we'd be friends
Yeah.
and
And
we
a
have
lot of
different
people,
goals.
yeah. And a lot of people do things for a living that they followed in the steps that their parents pushed them to for going to college. And as someone who cut lots of people's hair for a living, it's like I know lots of people's life stories, overall, because that's what we're like the bartenders. People tell us everything. And a lot of my clients had really great jobs, some doctors and lawyers because their parents pushed them to go to med school or go to school to become a lawyer or an engineer or whatever it was that they were. And while they made great money and had good jobs, they hated it. It's never what they even wanted. Their parents really pushed them that way in college, and they don't want to let their parents down. Or they thought it was going to be a great idea when they're 18, right? That's when we decide when we're in high school what we're going to go to college for. And how do we know we're going to like that? It's not like we ever got to try it out before. And we went to school for a topic that we thought, oh, that sounds good, or that might be good. And, here you are at 40 years old doing a job that you let an 18-year-old decide for you when you think about it. You let an 18-year-old pick what you were going to do for a living. So there's nothing wrong with change or trying a different avenue. But it can be scary. Change can be scary because there's comfort in what we're already doing. We know how it works. We know how it operates. We function in the dysfunction or the unhappiness of our lives.
Now, I agree with most of what you said, but just have a little bit of a different take on it. With
Yeah.
my kids right now, one just started college and one's getting ready. She's in high school now.
Yeah.
And my take for them is I've always said you're going to go to college, period. You're going to college. I have a college fund. You're going to college so that you have the opportunity when you're older, you have that degree to be able to make changes or reposition if you want, or have something to fall back on. But I've also said that if you ever have a passion or a path that you want in alternative, you can pitch that to me and we'll see if it will fly.
Yeah.
But same goes for, I said, there's also when you're thinking of your career, don't think of it as I want to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever. Think about it. Do I want to work with people or not people? Do I want to be on a computer or outside? Do I want to be working weekends or not weekends? Because if you want to be a professional chef, you're going to work nights and weekends. Let's be real
That's
here.
right.
If you're going to want to go into the hospital world, you're probably going to have to start on graveyard. And that's just things to think about with your career. Yep. On where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself spending 8 hours? The other thing I've told them is there's so many opportunities. If you said, I want to, like my son wanted to, I want to be a professional YouTuber and stream games online. Okay, I'm not against that. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel, but how are you going to make money? How are you going to be relevant? You cannot just stick with one game. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn SEO. You need to learn how to present on camera. You need to be okay with all that. You need to have a schedule. I'm fine with you learning that profession, but it's going to take time to build up. You don't just become successful overnight. And, it's not a bad opportunity. Same with, there's a lot of beauty people that make amazing money on YouTube doing tutorials on beauty, self-care, cleaning, how to do nails. There's this one nail lady. She does fantastic videos on how to do nails. I don't do nails and I still love watching her. It's there's the opportunity there. And what you need to say to yourself is, I don't want to make whatever that traditional, let's say nail salon lady traditionally makes X amount per year. And you're like, well, I don't want to make that, but I really love doing nails. Figure out how to make the money doing what you're passionate about. And there's opportunity there.
Or have it as a side hustle or whatever. I mean, we can do lots of things, and for those who want to do Amazon as a side thing because your main job is just so good, that's okay. Do that.
Judy says, I just signed up and was like, boy, I was really throwing money out in the dumpster. I'm interested. Now I'm kind of wanting to do BuyBot Pro. Is it just for outsourcing out in the field, like retail arbitrage, or is it for online sourcing? I'm curious, Judy. Let me know. All right. What do you got planned for today, Tina? I know we got some crypto things.
After this, I'm going to call my son back and get that view of Hawaii and find out all the things. And then I'm going to be getting together with you on the phone because we got money stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got to move money around today. Money problems. Not only that, going to college helps shape your critical thinking and ability to solve
Absolutely,
problems.
100%, Judy, 100%. And lots of people go to college for one thing and they come out doing a different career choice, but their college got them in, got them that other job, even if it wasn't what their field of study was. And that's absolutely true about your shaping your critical thinking. So true.
Yes. And yeah, my daughter, for the longest time, she wanted to be and she called it a hair salon person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's another name for that, but she wanted to be a hair salon person. And I said, well, you need to learn all the business aspects of it. And I want you to have the education so you could run the salon if you so choose to run the salon. William says, started using SellerAmp. Great.
I have it too. I like it as well, William.
I don't have SellerAmp. I'm thinking
Well,
about
my
it.
other calculator program I was using expired, like it was done. And I thought, this time I'm going to try SellerAmp just because, I hear lots of buzz about it and cost about the same and had the calculator option on there, which I love.
That's in lieu of RevSeller, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have RevSeller and I paid for a year on that. But
Yeah.
is SellerAmp cheaper?
Expired. I forget what the SellerAmp was a year, but it was roughly the same thing. So I'm like, let me try this one this year. I like trying new tools.
I don't. I hate learning new buttons. I have to. I feel like there's always an app I need to figure out. I'm currently working on a private label product, but would like to do RAOA for Right Now Money. Where should I start as far as learning what to sell? Go start scanning your house. Scan everything that has a barcode in your house and learn rank, learn velocity, learn how many sellers, learn what you can sell, what you can't sell, and eventually move out to the field or to online and make small purchases and do the learning. If you buy 3 of something and it goes sour or you miss something or whatnot, that's easy to take a hit on. Don't buy 300 of something. Buybot. Oh, it just jumped up. Hold on.
It was $16 a month, he said.
Well, I was looking at something different. Buybot Pro is good for everything. Even a repricer is available. Agreed, Judy. It's very important. Still, beside many YouTubers are tough out there because they see Mr. Beast. It's like $16 a month. SellerAmp is $22 a month, but it's good for retail arbitrage as well because it's an app as well as software. Interesting. Okay. Chrome extension and phone app. If you go for Buybot Pro, you don't need RevSeller, Keepa, and Tactical Arbitrage. Okay. And it has, which one has small and light option? Are you talking about?
They both do.
Trying to keep track there.
Yeah, I think they both have small and light option on there because
Okay.
I know that SellerAmp does.
Okay, I'm getting confused with all the programs. My eyes are hurting.
All right, well, it's ready for us to sign off.
SellerAmp, thanks, William. Yes, it is. It's time. You got to call your son, and then I've got to do a couple of things here. My one packer is out sick, but she doesn't think she has COVID, so I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully she's good. But I've got things to get ready here in the office, and then just doing bills and doing some ordering today. That's my plans. I got to do some
Thank you,
listing.
guys. Oh, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you hanging out with us every Friday.
Yes. Thank you, guys. It's lovely seeing everybody's name in the chat. Cynthia, William, Nate, Ultimate Coupon Lady. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Good weekend, guys.